Since the Pope exists in the Cars universe, Car Jesus must have existed. What kind of car do you think he would have been? El Camino. Stay with me here. Son of a carpenter. What would a carpenter drive? A truck. The sun. Smaller truck. Widely misunderstood and railed against by the powers that be of the time, but have a devoted following to this day. Google Translate tells me that El Camino translates to the way. Jesus said, I'm the way, the truth, and the life. He's already told you he's an El Camino. I laughed as soon as I read El Camino, but having read the rest of your comment it turns out you're entirely right. So I guess I owe you an apology. I'm truly sorry for my early judgment and I fully accept that Cars universe Jesus is an El Camino. Judge not, lest ye be judged. Hold up. So, if cars are built at the car's birth, then is the Pope Mobile constructed at birth? No cardinal car vote in the Cars Catholic Church universe overseen by an inexperienced Pope? Or is the Pope voted on by other cardinal cars and then brutally chopped up into a Pope Mobile? There's a Cars deleted scene where Lightning has a dream about his engine being put into a steamroller's body and Mater's engine being put into his, resulting in a bizarre body switch. Perhaps this is not so much dream logic as a real world procedure. So is the engine of a car their brain? In this specific context, yes. There's a hole in each wheel, but they are not flat. Can also drive on water, and turn water into petrol. The US Gov would like to know the location of this vehicle. A crossover. Badum TFSS. I'm here all week. He drove a Honda Accord. Everyone know this. Link in description. Everyone knows Jesus and his disciples went around in one Accord. Must have been packed in there. C. Chrysler. Judged by Honda Pontius Pilate. And he would be known as the Lambo God. Edit. I've been made aware of some different ideas as to Jesus and Joseph's profession. So imagine he was a cart for lumber or stones. Or perhaps a cart to carry important artifacts in and out of the temple. We don't know how the Cars characters are born. But we do know that older characters are older models. For example, Liz is way old. Doc Hornet is an older race car. Mater is an older truck. Is it possible that Jesus, a carpenter's son, could have been a lumber cart, while Caesar might have been a chariot? If he was wooden cart, did the crucifixion mean they broke him apart and turned him into a crucifix? Passion of the Chrysler. That old car your family owned, that you're surprised lasts for more than 15 years and 200,000 miles. People also argue about the color of it. I can smell this car. A Datsun 510. Nobody knows how it still runs but it does. Model. 1983 Toyota Tercel. Will seemingly die on a Friday, after you've arrived safely home, but will inexplicably start again on Monday, so you can drive to work. Obviously he was a hovercraft. Nazi. This certainly is the car of the King of Kings. Climbs into the driver's seat of an old Fugo and just straight up bursts into flames. King Arthur. You have chosen poorly. Aside. In the movie, claims one of the characters fought in WW2, which means there was a Cars Hitler. Volkswagen. Obviously. In all honesty, probably a pickup truck. Not too fancy or showy, but perfectly functional. His life was devoted to teaching and helping others, so it's the perfect vehicle to do so. He was also a carpenter, so pretty blue collar. A pickup truck would have been a good fit. A Toyota Hilux, because it just won't stay dead. Link in description. All I know is he died for art spins. Well, there must have been a car Charlemagne, car Joan of Arc, car Henry VIII, car George Washington, car Hitler, etc. There was absolutely a car WWII, as I believe the military jeep refers to it, meaning there was a car Holocaust, Pearl Harbor, D-Day, and Ticonux dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Given the VW minibus's mannerisms as well, it could be reasoned that there was also a car Vietnam War, as well as a car counterculture that arose from it. Were the nukes sentient? Were the nukes sentient? The bullets in the second movie aren't, so I'd say no. A beat up old tractor with a mismatched color door and rust all over the bumper, but in all of the imagery and iconography, he's portrayed as a pristine, white sedan. Accurate. Acura. Jesus was a Prius. Hated by most. Has a solid following. Those with money only use it to their advantage, until they can get something better. Except I imagine Jesus was a good driver, and everyone knows that Prius owners are all exceptionally horrible drivers. A carriage. But instead of walking on water, car Jesus rode without horses. I'm pretty sure every character in that universe is supposed to be immortal considering they can't build more cars by themselves, and the cars in that universe have bio components that keep them from breaking down. Hudson Hornet though. And we saw a car literally get killed by the villains in Cars 2. So disturbing. Cars 2 has a surprisingly high body count. Cars 2 producers definitely had to do some favors to get that G rating. In the Bible Jesus had a Honda, but he didn't like to talk about it. It says the apostles were all in one accord, but later on Jesus says I did not speak of my own accord. Moses had a British motorcycle. The sound of Moses' triumph echoed through the hills. A lot of the biblical patriarchs were fond of hot rods. Moses had a rod, and Aaron had a rod, and in Psalm 23 it says thy rod comfort me. God himself has a Plymouth. He drove Adam and Eve out of the garden in a fury. He would always be pictured as a white car, even though he was actually a brown car. The most normal car imaginable. He'd be a 2008 four-door Honda Civic with a dark grey paint job. Oh my god, my brother totaled Jesus a few years ago. R/Brand sentence. A Chevy. They die and are brought back to life all the time. I don't know about drove, but Jesus definitely built my hot rod. It was a love affair, mainly Jesus and my hot rod. A hippie van. He spent his time traveling and teaching peace and love to people. So the mystery machine? Biter. It's always the answer. Probably an NC, since he could walk on water and the NC is the boat. A Chrysler. The electric car. It was born, gave people hope, was killed, and now it is rising again. A Volkswagen Beetle. VW Beetles exist in the Cars universe. That means there was a car Hitler and Holocaust. There are warplanes, meaning there is a whole race of vehicles that were bred to be lethal killing machines. We even see a WW2 battle in the plane spin-off. It was so brutal that the one plane who survived suffered from PTSD so badly he couldn't fly anymore.